Okay, once you've created your OnShape education account here and answered these questions and use your personal email so you can verify your account. There's 2 pages and then you verify your account and then it brings you here, and I'm going to show you how to progress in this EDD project. You guys need to create these virtual products, and so OnShape's a great tool for that. And what we'll do is it'll bring you, when you first log in, to this menu here. I'm going to have you create a document. It works just like Google Drive. So I'm going to name it, your period, your first last name, and then enclosure prototype, space, dash, dash, space, enclosure prototype, just like that shown. And then you hit create. Since I like to grade these and for this assignment this week, hit share and then type in my email address, which is jfield, J-F-I-E-L-D, at Dallas ISD, DallasISD.org. You'll see my face come up there, and then you select on it and you hit share. That's how I grade them. Okay, so to make this enclosure prototype, we're going to start by selecting on the top plane over here. You can select over here on the left, and then you got a view cube on the right. But in this case, I want to sketch on it, and I'm going to make a 2-point rectangle. So I just click on the first point, and then I drag out, and I select and make the second point. And then I hit the green check mark to end that sketch, and then I can grab that profile, that closed profile that I just made, and I can drag it up, and in this case just grabbed it like that. I'm gonna, for this, move to viewing it with the perspective on, so that things get smaller as they get further away. I can see this a little better. And then I'm going to begin by chamfering the edge. You can chamfer just one edge of something, and you can type in the distance of the chamfer. Same with the fillets. And you can also, I'm gonna redo it, chamfer whole faces, like in this case, this face here, and then we'll get the whole edge all the way around. I happen to know that I want to do more, but like a 0.2 inch chamfer here, so I'm just going to type that in. Yeah, that's better. And then I'm going to click on that face so it gets the top and bottom faces. Those are the 2 things over here you'll see highlighted. You can click them off and repick them. In this case, I wanted to pick that face like that. I'm going to do the chamfer again here, just on these 4 corners. I'm spinning with the right mouse button. If you click on the lower right corner of your trackpad, it will also spin if you hold it down. And that way you can spin around if you don't have a mouse when you're doing this. All right, and I want to make those a little bigger, so I'm going to make those 0.4. That's too big. 0.35 maybe. Still a little too big. Maybe 0.3. Yeah, more of the look. And you can see, just playing with simple, like this assignment, I'm basically calling think outside the box, or more practically, how do you actually make the box more interesting and compelling? But so I'm going to go ahead and select that, and then move on to one of the next things I need to do, which is create a plane. And I could do a plane offset. So I could select on that face, and it will create a parallel offset plane at any distance that I want to pick. In this case, that'll be fine. I could also pick a mid plane. That's a great option for this case, where you're picking 2 faces. So I could pick that face. So here, entities, I click over there, and this top and this bottom, and it puts one right in the middle for me. So that'll work for this exercise. Now, what I want to point out is you have a solid cube with some chamfered edges. I'm going to rename that. I'm going to right click on it, rename it base form. That's what I'm going to call that. Enter. Because right now I can pick that base form, and then actually I'm going to pick the thicken tool. And that didn't work like I wanted. So I'm going to drag out a box and see how it highlights all those faces at once. And now I'm going to thicken those. And not 0.25 inches, but more like, how about 2 millimeters? 2 millimeters. You can see me type in the M. And very importantly in OnShape, you have to make that over here at the top, guys, new. So it makes it a separate part. You'll see it popped this new part in there. So now I have two different things. I have the base part and I have this new form part. I'm going to call this, rename it, the shell. I'm going to no-show the base form. I'm going to show you that you could actually go down here to section view and select on that plane. And I can kind of move this, I can rotate it, and it will show me a section of this part. I know, that's pretty cool. Love that tool. Since I want to make this out of 2 parts, so we could 3D print, say, this out of 2 parts, it's a removable box. What I'm going to do is split this now. So over here, there's that option. Sorry, it's this icon here, split. And what do I want to split? I want to split the shell and entity split with. So I click on that red box, plane 1, and then bam, it split that into 2 shells. And I can no show the one, see it that way. And that's a good spot for me to do one more little trick. I'm going to make more thickness here in the corners. So I have a place to have a boss for in a way, a thickness part, so I can have a hole, attachment hole corner location. And I'm just realizing now I really should have done that before I did the split. And that's okay. So let me do this. I'm going to click on split and delete it. Go back to when I had just all as one shell here. And I'll show you what I was doing by going back to the section view and clicking on my plane again. Watch, I need to do it here, which is pick on this face. Oops. Do this again, section view. Accept it, there we go. Now I can pick on this corner, pick on this corner, pick on this corner, pick on this corner, and do something else, which is pull a face or move a face. You see it adds some thickness to these corners, and I like it. 0.25, I think I can work with that. There we go. And now I'm pretty much happy with that, so I'm gonna go ahead and over here, turn that perspective off again, split this thing again. So I split it now, split the shell with the plane. There we go. I'm going to work on finishing this top piece. A couple things I want to do with this top piece. So one of the things is I'm going to put holes in the corners for attachment, and then also I'm going to design some more backfill in here at the top. So watch me, let me do that first. I can select on it, sketch on that top, and then I can do the offset tool here. And it will give me an offset of that. And I want to come into the back like that. And before I finish that, I'm going to, actually, I'm going to round these corners at the edge. So I'll pick those two, and it will put a rounded edge on it like that. And then I'm going to accept that. So left click. Oops, did it not do that? Try that again, round that edge, there. It says to left click, there, finally accepted it. Try that again, left click. Oh yeah? That's exciting. Now instead, I'm going to remove in this case, okay? And so it's like a back draft there. And I'm just realizing that's doing it into the shell of the thing. So it just kind of removed that. So I'm going to just made that a little bigger there. And the other thing you can do is when you extrude remove, you can draft it. In this case, I think this looks better when we draft it with some more an angle. And so you'll see it kind of drafts that angle out a little bit more. That's a nicer look. And let me put these hole locations in for the boss. I'm going to do something where I can take this top shell, right click on it, and make it transparent. Do this thing from the top. Go ahead and take the perspective off. Here it is. So I want these hole locations right over here. And I'm going to take that off for a second. There it is. And then go ahead and sketch on this plane. And then I'm going to put in, I am going to put in points. I'm going to have to construct a line here probably first. And so I'm going to hit this use tool and use that point and that point. And we use more. And we use tool uses different things in the background on your existing sketch plane. That's what that does. And I'm going to use the midpoint here and here for a very specific reason, which is creating a line like this. That's going to be a mirror line. And so now I can create a line, and then I drag over there. You'll see it knows that I want a line right there. And then the line tool again. Another one right there. There it is. And then I'm going to mirror that over. Select the mirror line. It's like that. That point there. Mirror. That point there. I guess I have to make the whole line mirrored over. That's fine. Just like that point. There it is. All of that just so I can come here and do the hole tool to create these holes. And I can correct that point, that point, that point, that point. And then I can do a counter bore or countersink. And in this case, I'm going to do the countersink. And I can determine how far down, and I want to go about an inch there. And I can even thread that and 3D print it that way so a screw could go right in. 6 millimeters diameter instead of countersink, counter bore. And 0.7. There we go. Much better. And a couple more finishing touches. I'll do a little bit of a And lastly, before I take my image, I'm going to see if I can color this. Take all these faces. There we go. And view it with perspective on. It's kind of cool. It's already shared with me. All set.